So okay, I told you guys I was gonna get started at around 6:30. It's a little bit early right now, about 5 minutes early, but I'm only gonna be streaming for like an hour every Tuesday evening. So I don't know exactly how far through this we're gonna get, but and I don't play music on my channel. I know some folks do. I will actually have a link to a Pandora station that I like to listen to available if anybody's interested in that. But otherwise, we're just going to get into creating a character. Now, when you first start out with Champions Online, this is pretty much the screen that you're going to be looking at. The differences between the free and the lifetime membership is going to be quite a lot, actually. And I'm not going to go into serious details because I don't really even remember what the free folks get. But I will tell you that when I click create, and there's a prior video that I already streamed showing 3 pages of other characters, which is what this little yellow arrow up here is all about. That's all my other characters that I've created. So I've done this game quite a bit. While I wouldn't call myself a pro gamer by any stretch of the imagination, I am very much into this game. So, and I've been playing for quite some time. Anyway, so since nobody sent anything to my Facebook page that I found, I guess I'm on my own for creating my character, which is cool with me. So here we go. You have options. The free form is only open to the live play. And let me move my... Here, let me bring this up. I'll move my screen over here so that you guys can get a better look at some of the things that are available to me that are open here. So this is your main character that you start out with, and of course you can choose between the male or the female build, and there's a lot of customization that you have available to you. Freeform is only available to paid customers. Ranged characters have different things, like there's fire, and it's going to automatically put a starting costume on the if I were to select this as the one I wanted to start with, it's going to start with this, but then it's going to take me to the character creator and let me change it up, do other things to it if I want. So you're not stuck with whatever they're showing you there. You can always change that up. This is your guns guy. You got your chain fighter and hex slinger, so he's your magician of some sort. Psychokinetic, he's got telekinesis and psycho or psi bolts and things of that nature. This is the Tempest. He's kind of a storm guy. He does a lot of range damage with a variety of different things. You've got your ice, your rifles. The automation is, as you can see, that's something that I can purchase in the store. So like, that's something that I don't even have yet. I mean, I could. I have enough. What do they call it? Resource points. There's a variety of different things that they call it. But then you've got your archer and squall. I don't know exactly. That's just wind and weather currents around you. So then what is the... Able to control and create electrical currents. Oh, okay, so I got that wrong. That's electrical, and this is the wind and storm. Okay. Tanky types, those are the ones that just take a lot of damage. They typically get right up in the middle of a bunch of guys and then taunt them and make them come towards them. And they can take a lot of beatings while the rest of their team deals out damage. And they try to keep the opponent's attention on them while you do it. So... Glacier is kind of an ice tank. There's your fire tank. There's your, obviously, your rock tank. Earth elemental type. Uh, there's a lot of different ones that you have access to. All right. Melee guys, your up close fighters, they deal a lot of damage and can take damage to some extent better than some of the others, but that's not what they're built for. They're built for damage output. And so you've got your psychic, your this is kind of your kung fu ninja type guy, sword dude, uh, claws and predator type, chains and a variety of different types of things there. He's got the big old hammer. This is dual blades. There's a bunch that you can use on that one too. And then cybernetics and stuff of that nature. Hybrid is kind of a combination between the tank and the scrapper. You can get in there and do a little bit of all of it. And then of course your support characters are mostly your healers and your controllers that are able to use TK to grab the villain and hold him still while somebody else beats him to a pulp. And so and a lot of these guys too, a lot of the support guys, they're able to they get pets and things that they can control. So they're similar to in the old City of Heroes and City of Villains. On the villain side of things, you could create this class called a mastermind, and they would summon up minions to go out and do their bidding, and they would stay in the back, keep their minions healed, and do damage to the bad guys. And you can do that with the support crews as well. And I've played a bunch of those different ones. But I always go with my freeform because I can. So the other thing that I have, well, first we have to make the decision as to whether we're going to go with a ranged or a melee or tank or support. And I'm kind of at a toss-up right now. I think I may just go... I'm going to go with a sword guy. I don't have a lot of sword guys. I'm not going to use the laser sword, though. Where's the other one? Rain of Steel. Dual blades. Lightspeed blade. Use your laser sword to rapidly slice your enemies. Seems like there was a single blade. Oh, there it is. Reaper's Touch. This is the one that is single blade attack, and you can see that one's down a little bit on this screen. And there are a lot of different things that I can select from. I have access to all of this stuff. Another fun one to do is Bestial with the claws and the regeneration and stuff. But this time I'm going to go with the single touch sword. I kind of like getting in close. So with the swords, that's the dual. There's the single blade slash. You have two different powers that you start out with. One is your energy builder. When you get out into fighting with villains on the street or in your instances, what you do is you set your energy builder going and just leave it alone. You don't have to hit the button until the fight's over. You can just change targets and click it again. Change targets when that one drops, click it again. And it'll just keep attacking for you. The second one does a little bit more damage, and it also has the ability to cut across a couple of different people, right? So, and that goes with the martial arts and a couple of the other ones too. So like if I wanted to do, if I have a group of villains that are charging in on me, I can do damage to multiple villains by keeping the one targeted and hitting my secondary attack, which does that sweep attack through everybody. And I'll show you how you use that when you get into the actual melee attacks. And when you're looking at these, there's a bunch of different... you can see that the points over here, this one is dexterity and recovery, which is always a good one to go with if you're looking to do extra damage. You can see as you read on these things, Constitution improves the hero's hit points starting out. Endurance is maximum energy and the rate that the energy is generated from your fighting attacks. Strength obviously improves melee damage, knocks, knock resistance, and the pickup and throw ability. And a lot of the environment in Champions Online is not only destroyable, but you can pick it up and use it as a weapon. And I'll show you how that works too when we get into the tutorials and stuff. Dexterity improves your chance for a critical hit and your effectiveness for stealth granting powers. If you're going to be an up-close melee guy and you're not taking the tank model, which can take the damage, you want to be able to stealth around. And I kind of like that stuff for this guy. Intelligence, yeah, that improves your cooldown length, so that's the amount of time, like after I click that secondary power button and I do that sweeping attack through, I have to wait for that button to pop back up before I can click it again. And what that represents is the amount of time it takes your character to prepare the attack to go again. So there's like a cooldown period where just use that power, takes a minute to build the energy back up, takes a minute to get that power to where it'll activate again, and then you can click it again and go again. So intelligence speeds that along for you. Ego improves your range damage, range knocks, and hold resistance. A lot of people don't pay enough attention to that when they're building their characters. That means that when your villains that are out there start trying to trap you and stop you from getting away and letting their friends beat on you, if you have that hold resistance, when you're doing you gotta hit your movement keys or your attack keys multiple times while you're restrained, and then as you do that, you'll see it's cutting down the amount of time that you're going to be trapped in this hold. The higher your ego, the quicker you're going to break out of those holds. Presence, improves the healing strength, the hold duration, and crowd control and resistance. And of course, recovery sets your equilibrium, increases the rate of energy generated from energy building attacks, and grants a small increase to the maximum energy. And your energy matters because of your cooldown periods and because you have two bars, one of them being your strength bar and the other being your endurance bar. And as you use your powers, it will reduce your energy bar. When your energy bar gets down below the point where you don't have enough points to spend to click that button, then your energy builder power has to build that up beyond that point, so that you can use that power again. Your recovery rate will increase the speed at which your energy builder brings that endurance back to you. So that's another thing that's very important when you're playing the game. Because of the type of character that I'm going to be playing, I kind of like the idea of, where is it? One of mind and body is strength and dex mostly. If you go down into the deeper into these things, some of these things you can do 10s and then an 8. And like the dragon gives you strength, dexterity, and recovery, and the other boost on the 8 is your constitution, which bumps your hit points, which is the one that I usually use when I'm building these up close martial arts type fighters. One of the things that I was thinking about is to maybe boost either the presence or the ego, but I'm going to go ahead and go with this one for now, because we're going to get into the actual character creation. And I've cut off my, on this thing, you have the option to go in your audio and turn down or turn off the audio that you've got. And so I typically turned the music that the game has off, and like in my earbud right now, I'm playing, I pay Pandora like, I think it's $5 a month or $6 a month, I don't remember exactly, but it cuts all the ads out, gives you unlimited number of skips, and it allows you to unlimited number of thumbs up and thumbs downs. And that's all that I care about. I don't care about all the rest of the bonuses that you can get for the step above that. There are other things that you can get through Pandora, but I just do the regular, and I'm not getting paid anything from Pandora for saying this, but one of the stations that I have, and you can do whatever you like. You can do classic rock, you can do metal, you can choose a genre and go that way, or you can choose your favorite band and build a channel based on your favorite band's music, and they'll bring other bands in like that. And as you thumbs up or thumbs down things, it adjusts the music that Pandora plays for you. So I created a channel for Audio Machine, and they're not paying me to say that either. But Audio Machine is like score music, action score movies from movie score soundtracks and stuff. So if I play that in my ear while I'm playing the game, it's just kind of a fun thing that I like to do. And sometimes you get to the hyper adrenaline rush stuff, and sometimes you just, you know, running along and playing. But anyway, so since we're starting with the head of the character, if I put my mouse on his chest and then I use my mouse wheel and roll it up, you can zoom in real close. You can also do that with these buttons down here just by using your left click mouse. And there's a way to use the Xbox controller connected to your laptop as well. I just don't prefer to do that. I like to use my keyboard and mouse. So that's preference, you know, personal preference. So we're going to build a guy, and I'm thinking that this guy's going to have so I have a lot of things open to me. Anything that's got the unlock on it are things that are either been given to me because of my lifetime membership purchase, or that I have purchased through the store and are unlocked and available to me. Some of these will work with other costume parts and some of them won't. So you could click on something and then later on see something you wanted to use on a different part of the character, and it's not an option available to you because of something that you clicked on earlier. So a lot of times if you're just looking, and like, let me show you this too, just because it's fun. If I back all the way out, you can just click randomize all, and it'll start throwing together, changing your height and your width and putting all of the odd characteristic stuff that's available, right? And some of that looks like it comes almost directly out of the what was available when you were in the power selection screen. But I'm not going to do any of that right now. One of the things that I have also created is once you've done a couple of costumes, if you get something you really like, you can save it, right? So one of the things that I have, and I can click load, and this pops up this screen that gives me all of these options, and these are American Grip and Bloodstorm, but there's no name that's in here. If I double click that no name, now what this is, all I did was I took their base character and made it more heroic to my style of thinking. You can go into your body styles, and you can see that I gave him almost full muscle, and that's just how cut the character looks on you know, for how much workout he's done. Body mass, you can adjust that up and down. You know, you can make him Hulk, you can make him a little skinny dude, but you know, while he's as cut as he is, he's always going to have a certain kind of a style, and I don't remember exactly where that was, but that's fine. And then his height, you put him at 6'5", but the other thing that they don't do with this is you can set him at 6'5", but then when you increase the leg length, it's still going to increase his height. So you have a 6'5" character base model legs, and you increase the leg length, and it pushes him past 6'5". So if you really want, you know, the ultimate tall guy, you just push the leg length max and do the same thing to the height bar, and you can go, you know, really tall. If you look down here, they have show face slider, and like down here, if you've got if I put wings on this character, which a lot of my characters fly because it's one of my favorite transport powers. If I put wings on this character, I like the wings to really be out there long. So if you think about the weight of a human body, you'd have to have some pretty huge wingspan to be able to hold the human body off the ground. If you read Marvel Comics, Angel actually has hollow bones. That's part of his mutant ability to lighten his weight, and he has hollow bones just like a bird so that he can fly easier, and it gives him more maneuverability. But I can click on show face sliders, and what I've done on this is I've adjusted his nose and his eye width and stuff of that nature, and all that's done for me based on what I've gone in and done before, right? So, and that's available to you guys too. I believe even starting out you get all that. So I can start with the humanoid luchador full face mask, which is where I'm thinking I might be leaning towards right now. And this says cloth. I always go leather, which gives it just the slightest amount of shine. And you don't really see it as much on the face as you do on the, like right now you can see the chest has that little bit of shine right there that you don't see on the face. That shine shows that this is set up as a leather, not as a cloth. And there, if I really wanted to go crazy, I could go with metal, which gives you a sense of well, a skin tight foil type outfit, you know, maybe like a lycra spandex type thing, one of those old what they used to put on the Star Trek, the original series, which when I was a kid, I used to watch that stuff. Haven't watched it in a long time, but I used to watch it all the time. But for me, I usually stick with it. And there's also skin cloth, which is basically it makes the cloth the same texture as the skin on the rest of the character's body, so you can do like a no face type character. And this says full with mouth, and you can see as you look at this with the this is just going to give me a variety of different added effects on his face mask. Classic skull, which I think looks a little dorky in these colors, but you can always change that later, you know. Colors are something that I do too. I like that vector mask. That's kind of cool. I might come back to that. Combat mask I've used a lot. Crystal web, cybot, diamonds, diode. And then you get into the elemental stuff. There's the air, the earth, fire, and of course ice, which you don't see much on this, but if you put ice on the rest of the costume, which you'll see the chest when we get down to it, there's a way to do elemental ice on that too. Flames basic, flames 2, gradient, that's kind of neat. Halves, lightning 2, Nova, which is unlocked for me as well. Serpent mask, which, you know, that's kind of a cool mask. Sharp open. That skull is much better looking. That's just called skeleton, and that's part of the Halloween outfit that's available. You guys can purchase that in the Champions Online store. So, matter of fact, I might go with that. I kind of like that look. I might go with this. On the basic folds, you can tell it none. Basic folds just means you can see the little creases at the neck that are down there, and there's a little there. You can see some around the brow, the forehead area, and right there near the nose. Combat mask, that's got, you can see the creases that come down the sides of it through his eyes, and there's one that goes through the center. And crystal web, cybot, that gives him kind of that cybot face look. Diode, and those match up. There's that Nova that I showed you earlier. Those match up to the mask patterns that we saw earlier. Talon, they don't have one that matches up with the skeleton. That would be neat. Vector, that's that one that I told you I liked earlier. And then X, but I'm going to go with none on the folds because I like that smooth kind of a look right there. And you see the thing on his neck? We're going to fix that in a little while. So, from this point, you get an idea of the direction I'm headed. I'm going to go ahead and change the overall colors of the outfit. And I'm thinking I might go with kind of I'm going to go with a dark red. And I'm actually going to brighten the yellow up to give it more of a bone texture to it, right? So hairstyles, Got all kinds of hairstyles that I can go through here. A bunch of them are pretty neat. I kind of like the braid for the shoulder for somebody like this. Right? Now look, on hair, I've got leather, or I've got metal. I could actually do like a metal hair for this guy. I'm going to stick with basic hair. I'm going to stick with this kind of a look on him because I think that looks sort of cool. You can do a B hairstyle, which actually in the B hairstyle, as you can see, it leaves the A hairstyle there and it puts something over it. So like if I wanted to do the clipped with that in the back and then change the colors of the hair to match, it would look like he's got the Asian ponytail, braided ponytail, with the clipped haircut of more of a militaristic look, you know, kind of like what I'm got going on right now. I just got my haircut this afternoon, and so I do a 2 on the sides, and then I just have them trim the top down so that it can be brushed to the side professionally, or I can kind of put a little bit of gel in it or something if me and my wife are going out on a date or something. But I've never done that one before. I think I will. I think I'm going to change the color of his hair, though. He's going to go with kind of a black. Instead of... What do you think? You like that? It gives him kind of the gray on the sides where the temple is. And then if I go back to the first haircut, and I change those colors to match, I can go black on that one, gray on that one, black on that one. And if you look at this third one here, actually, if I change that color to that same dark red that I used before, that's the hair bead that's on there, and that gives him kind of a look of same thing I've got here. You see I got the white in the temples, and then it gets dark in the back, which is kind of I don't even know how I got that genetically. My father was adopted, so my gene pool is a roulette wheel. Round and round and round she goes. Where she stops, who the hell cares? But I kind of like that look, other than the way that that's clipping there. So I think if I change this one, not that one, this one, to the gray color, I may have to do that with both of them. So let me go back to hairstyle B. Oops, I didn't mean to lock it. I'm going to dump that off to the lighter gray color there as well. Let me there we go. That matches somewhat. And I'm thinking I might put a hood on him too, so well, maybe I won't, because I got that braid sticking out. I kind of like the look of that, so I'm going to stick with that one. For eyebrows, you only have a few choices here. You've got none, which just takes the eyebrow completely off, which is probably what we're going to go for with the look of this character. You have the aggressive eyebrow, which that's kind of hard to see with the direction he's facing, but let me change the color of his eyebrow to something. Let's go with the pink. That'll stand out. You can see how that looks on the face there, and in the way that his brow knits in the middle, that gives it the aggressive look. Although pink's not that aggressive usually. There's the basic, the one that you started with. Bestial long gets kind of goofy looking in my opinion. Medium is still kind of on the goofy side. Bestial small, just these big square blocks on his forehead. Robotic, if you want to do something, you know, with a metallic look. Rock brow, which you almost can't see right now because it's unlocked, but I don't think that goes with the particular style that I've got. And then the spiky swept, which if I'm doing bestial, that's kind of the one that I go with because I like that look better than the others. But for this particular mask, we're going to go with none. And then for the eyes, you've got cloth eyes, glass eyes, metal eyes, and shiny eyes. And I'm going to leave it at shiny, but then instead of basic, I can do Android, which gives you that kind of like a target look in the middle, dot in the middle. There's the basic that we've already got. Cat's eye, you know what that is, obviously. Gradient is really cool looking, and it might be the one that I go with. Then there's no pupil, pupil only. There's the reticle, which is like the target in his eye. I don't know if you can see that. Smiley face, which I've always thought looked ridiculous. Then there's the solid, which is the way that I might go, and I'll show you something you can do with that. And then there's the swirl, which also I've never been a big fan of. But if you're looking at the basic and the color of the eye here, you can see that he's got this set to black right now for basic, right? If I go dark blue on the eye, but then you see this up here, it says glow. If I kick that up to max, his eye's not dark blue anymore, right? And I can really make it glow if I go with a brighter blue. So, what my plan is here, what I'm thinking I might do, I'm going to go with the no pupil. Or no, you know what? We're going to go with the pupil only. But then we're going to change that color to kind of a bright red, right? Now, the whites of someone's eye in your eyeball is called your sclera. And we're going to change the sclera on this guy to pitch black. Or actually, I'm going to go that dark blood red that I used earlier to match the rest of the outfit. That looks kind of wild, right? So you can change the ears. A lot of these ears are like, you know, on the side of his head, and some of them get really big on the top, like these bunny ears and cat ears and fins and pit bulls and raccoons and all kinds of whatnot. Just going to leave that at no or none. Eye accessory, if you wanted to kind of deck out his eyes, you've got different kinds of masks and like blindfolds, and there's, you know, a variety of different, there's the reticle thing. If you want to do an eye patch, you're going to do left or right eye patch, armored eye plates. That's kind of if you want to do like a cybernetic type dude. Oh, I wonder if that samurai eye plate, what would happen if I did that and changed this color to that bone color? Well, that gives him a much more imposing look, I think. I like that. So I'm going to do that. Under headwear, this is where we could have put the hood on him and stuff, right? So he's got like this 90s tech looking thing that they can put on him. That doesn't look right for a sword guy, in my opinion. A bunch of bandanas and ball caps and stuff. You can see the hair bleeding through all of this stuff because it doesn't really fit. The helmets, the hair doesn't bleed through, but it also cuts the hair out, which, why would you go to all the trouble of building your hairstyle if you're going to go in there and put a hat on there and let it all bleed through and look silly? There's a crown. That's kind of an interesting look, but not something that I think, that's kind of the laurel wreath crown. Dragon helmet. I hadn't seen that before. See, do all kinds of stuff here. We've got variety. There's the hoods that I was talking about. See how that hood's got, it still has the ponytail sticking out of the back? It's like if I took the fitted hood right now and I turn that around, you see a little bit of the hair poking through right there on the side of his head when he turns his head. There's some clipping in a lot of the animation on this game that never got fixed at game release, and they just left it. And those of us that were in the beta, some of the stuff we even talked about, there's a particular ponytail hairstyle that if you point the ears on the character, the ponytail had one, and if you're an animator or know anything about three-dimensional modeling, they have vertices, which are the little lines, and then they have the little dots where the lines connect, right? And I can't remember what, maybe the vertice is the dot. Anyway, one of the hair vertices connects to one of the vertices on the tip of his ear. So if you point his ear, it pulls the hair next to the ear, and it has this really weird look on it. And they never fixed that bug either. And I reported that personally when I was in the beta. So I know that one got reported, and I'm sure other people probably have too. I'm not the only person that liked that look. But I'm not going to do the hood on this guy, although the fitted hood looks kind of cool. Full-faced, full hood, you can see there's even more clipping in the hair sticking through even more. And then the full open hood, there's a little bit of clipping there as well. If you were going to do the hood, though, you really don't need that second hairstyle in there. You could just dump the hairstyle and put that in on a secondary model costume later. Gas masks. Let me turn him back around here so you can kind of get a look at him. Hoods, gas masks. Kind of a golden age executioner style hood. It's kind of neat. This is something, the Harlequin headpiece is only available to people that pre-purchased the Champions Online game through Amazon, which is where I got it. And I did that when I was, and so because of the pre-purchase, I'm one of the few that gets the Harlequin headpiece. I don't know if they release that later as something you could purchase in store or not, but I like it a lot. And I got headbands and different types of little things. Like, you can see how much is available. There's a lot of... Oh, it's a sorting hat. You're a hairy wizard. Anyway, none for this because I'm going to stick with just the skull mask and the hair, which I've done. Top accessories. There's a bunch of more ears and fins and a variety of different more crowns that you can do. And yes, the top accessories do mix with the hats. There was somebody that did a kind of a humorous walk through the tutorial where they built a character, and they said, how much stuff can we stick on this character's head? And they just piled things on there. It was redunculous looking. Fun, you know, funny, but it was all done in humor, but it was... and some of the stuff, like I said, doesn't show up because I'm not set up for the with this particular face mask or outfit that I took. Those things don't show up for whatever reason. And another thing that happened is a lot of what was available to me originally is now no longer a part of the game. Like they nerfed it out. Eye accessories, or side accessories, excuse me. I said eye, but that says side. So you can do earrings and, you know, like if I wanted to do, there's earring left and earring right, or earring skull left, skull right, or there's just earrings. And the thing that I find funny is earring left and earring right is there. Or you can go to earrings. Oh, they don't do it on that one. Okay, well, some of them, they allow you to pick which side of the body you want it to work. Mouth accessories. There's really, with the skull, there's not much that I want to put on there because I don't want to cover the mouth up. Bird beaks. He's got some kind of cool bestial fangs, clown nose, jaws, different types of ninja masks, rebreathers, and like this one, the reason why this sticks out as far as it does is because there's a different head that's the insect head that you can pick instead of the masked head, that when you do that, this would look right on the insect head. Otherwise it just kind of floats out in front and looks out of place. So I go into tights and back him up so you can kind of get a look at him so far. Because of the way that this guy is going to be when I go to his, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the skins and arms. You can also get jackets. You can do mechanical things that come over the top. And then there's a partial deal that you can do. But I'm going to stick with the skins and tights. I'm going to go with Cosmic. These do different things when you're building your costume out. I'm going to go with just regular tights. I'm going to stick with leather because that matches the overall theme. If you look here, you've got this alien muscle. There's a bunch of different customizable looks that you can do here. I'm leaning towards, because I like the idea of circles with this guy, right? Because he's a swords guy. So in martial arts, there's a thing with Aikido and keeping one's own environment harmonized, where you're defending in circles. Everything's done in sweeping circular motions, and it's one of the ways that they pull you off balance and do things. And they in Aikido also they do some katana or sword work, and then of course Kendo is actual swordsmanship martial art, and they teach you different types of circular things. And there's more with a circular stroke coming down. There's more weight behind the attack, and so I like the idea of showing off circles with this guy. Details, you can see there's a lot of this basically changes the you know what, let me move my face back over to the side where I was before, so that you can better see some of the stuff that this is doing to his costume. So you can see these angled grooves that show up in the costume. This is a textured groove. It's not a coloration. It's a texture that's in there. There's banded basic. So depending upon the look that you're going for, if you want some kind of a padded armor, inlays, jumpsuits, this is a knit. There's Nova, padded one, padded plates, which is always kind of a cool one that I like. Wedges, and see the wedges have that kind of a half circle thing along the top of the chest as well. Ribbed tech, more scales and scallops, and scallops is one of the ones that I use quite often as well. Side chest, talon, tech 1, vector, wrinkles, and X. So like with this guy, I'm thinking we're just going to go with basic wrinkles. But we're going to change where the colors are that are on this character. See how this yellow is around the neck here? I want the dark red to be here. So I'm going to change this to the yellow, this to the red, and on the white, I'm going to change that to a black, because I think that that kind of a dark line right there emphasizes the circle that happens right there in between the yellow and the dark red, the blood red, so to speak.
Lay down, Miss Luna.
Kind of looks cool.
Lay down.
It's my wife talking to my dog. So you can put dirt stains on this thing. You can see how those pop up right there under his chest. Mostly it shows up on the yellow more than the red. It's there on the red. I don't know how big your screen is or whether you can see it, but it is there. I just, I don't want a dirty superhero. I'm dirty enough for both of us. So with that set up that way, on the chest layer, if I wanted to add 90s straps. I could put ammo bandolier, cowls. This is kind of too techy for a martial arts guy, right? For a sword dude. But these are all things that are available to you. I don't really have an idea for this part of him. I'm just kind of looking at what's available and seeing if anything grabs me as, oh yeah, he's got to have that. Over the top. You could wear a corset. The corseted superhero, martial arts. Why do you wear a corset? Because I like to fight. Me and my SEA buddies that are watching this might recognize that story. My wife told me that from, it's a California story. Now, since I heard it secondhand, I don't remember exactly where
Sorry, Mr. Cat.
it originally comes from. Fur. That wouldn't look right. One-sleeved gi. Bandolier. Kataginu. Kerchief. Kevlar vest. There's a tunic that I put on a couple of characters that looks kind of cool, but I don't want to put that on him because I like the circles showing on. It's kind of a, it's the martial arts gi. And then there's the gi tank top. Ninja shirt. It's got that stupid looking, you can't see it because the red's of this, or maybe you can see it. The red net is the same color as the background behind it, but like if you, yeah, that's goofy. Open vest, shirts.
Hey, 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 hey. Here, Mr. Kasai, you want to come sit in my lap? Kitty, kitty.
Stitches,
Right.
straps.
Then you come sit in my lap. I fixed it for you, Mr. Cat.
Here's the tunic that I was telling you about that I used on a couple other characters that I thought looks kind of cool. There's also the bulky tunic, which is designed more so that you could have other things in your underneath it, like you can build up your armor and stuff on there. I don't want the vests and stuff. Little jackets. There's an oriental vest that looks kind of fitting, but no. Alright, so all of that is a no. I'm going to leave this all off. He's going to go with none on that. Collar. We don't really want a collar on him either unless I had the idea of doing kind of, in the 1970s, a lot of comic book fans might remember both Doctor Strange and another character I liked a lot out of Marvel Comics, Iron Fist, wore this kind of stuff. Golden Age. Hollow Force only works with certain types of armor. Sci-fi and the Wizards. We're not doing that. On the neck, this is where I'm going to show you. See where the bone is, right? On the neck, we're going to go with a tight cowl. And we're going to tell it that we want that to be leather, like the rest of it. And the detail is going to be cowl. So what that does, you can see where the neck muscles now are back, and it matches the rest of the color of that upper. If I change this color, not for the cowl. Yeah, we'll just change the cowl color. Who cares? So that you can see there's another clipping issue. See this right here? This little corner that's cut out of that? That's because if you change the size of your character's chest musculature, if you beef him up any, that particular costume piece, the artists didn't take that into account when they were going back and redoing it. So that was a mistake on their part. But Using this gets rid of that weird neck thing, other than the back of his, right there at the, you can kind of see that little piece of bone right there, but that's alright. The majority of it is covered. That's what I was after. If you want to put an emblem on the front of your shirt, you can do that. On the back of your shirt, on the shoulders, if I wanted to do some kind of a... Let's do the fitted ones, because I kind of like those. We'll go fitted. Instead of metal, we'll go leather. And instead of layered, we will go...
Sweet boy. Okay.
Square trim or banded? I think I'm going to go square trim, and I'm going to change the white on this one. Oops, keep locking it. Change the white to this one to match the rest of the yellow on there because I like the look of that. And I'll change that white to the red. I kind of like the look of that. And that adds another circular element to the costume. So you kind of get an idea of how that, see how the circle here kind of matches into the bottom of the shoulder plate. And if you wanted to put a cape or something on there, there's a couple of those that would hang out too. And go to the backs. Obviously, with this character, we are not going to go with this is the anniversary cape, so it's all sparkly. See how it goes under the shoulder plate right there, and then kind of comes out. And you can also see that it's blowing in the wind, even when he's standing standing still. Cape blowing in the wind. Very Superman from the old black and white, and then the color show with George Reeves. But with this guy, because of who he is, obviously what he needs on his back is right there. Now also, because I built the muscle up, you can see where the clipping takes out the top part of the strap, and if you turn that just right, you can see that it sits too far away from his back. Swords don't do that. It should be up against his back. But again, because of different types of armor pieces and things, that works for some parts of him, and for some of the costumes, and not for others very well. Change the casing to black. Change this to the red, the blood red color. That's going to be the gold bone color. And we'll just leave that white, and that way you can see it's wrapped. It's kind of hard to see that that's the dark red. Maybe I should make another go lighter red on it. There we go. I went a lighter red on the handle, and it still pretty closely matches what the rest of the outfit is. And that's kind of what I was going for. Alright, so now with his gloves, you have a bunch of choices here. We're going to go with the short glove. Leather's correct. Solid color, we're going to go with the circle. Where's the circle? Circles. Don't guess that mattered much. And then on the bracer, you have a bunch of options on that as well. And you can see there's like bunches and bunches of stuff you can do. I'm gonna go with the ninja armor plate right there. We're gonna go with leather, and you can go ornate, strapped, or stripes. And I personally think strapped looks good for this guy. Puts a little Chinese star on the back of his hand, and I like the look of that. As far as the colors are concerned, we are going to change up the gold with the dark red. And this one we're going to go black so that it kind of stands out. Then everything on the highlight area will be the golds. And I think that, personally, I like it. I think it looks pretty awesome. So there's also arm accessories, and this is going to go on the upper arm. You can see where they've got different straps and things that you can tie to his arm. There's a knife. Where's the knife? There's the knife. So if I turn that sideways, you see the knife right there, and it's strapped to his bicep. And this is one of the ones where you can do the right or left. So if I go to right and tell it I want none. So from behind him, there's nothing on his right arm. On his left arm, he can reach across with his right hand and pull his knife if he needs. Maybe we'll leave that there. We'll just change the colors around some. We'll go with same thing oops. Kind of like the gold for the handle, even though it's not going to show up very well. We'll go with the dark red. No, we'll go with the black for that. And see how it jumps out? Again, bugs in the system. You would think for a game as old as this that would be taken care of by now, but no. So I'm almost at an hour and I haven't even finished this character up. Let me give him his belt. I kind of like the one that's got the wrap. Where's the wrap? There it is, buckle and wrap. I'm going to go with kind of a black belt. Yeah, I went there. Gold buckles. The buckles match, the black doesn't, but it kind of fits for the, you see the highlights on the, or not the highlights, on the bracer and the back of the hand. I kind of like that look. They have belt accessories. None of those are available to me. Clothing. Do I want to put anything on his waist down here? Zoom in back so you can kind of get a better look at that. So bone armor doesn't show up. That's kind of long bandages, bird people. Well, that's kind of interesting. Cargo urban with those boots are kind of cool. Cosmic 2, Crusader, Egyptian skirt. I kind of like the Persian one that we'll get to in a minute. Sci-fi. That's a slit skirt, kind of meant to be kind of the Greek toga look on the base. There's the Spartan tactical armor. Trench coat bottom. There's a coat that's available for that looks kind of cool. There's the wizard skirt wrapped at an angle, and then arch. I don't know if I'll...
Can't even see this.
If we go for the yellow highlights
Okay.
on that. The only thing about wrapped at an angle is that doesn't look to be leather. It's just cloth. It's the only thing that's available to it. So I will say none. Hips layer, again, there's a bunch of hip stuff, and this is going to be where we're going to find that Persian thing I was telling you about. This knight spiked thing, if you wear the rest of the knight's armor, there's some spiked armor that you can put in there with him. Luchador. Ninja wrap, that gives you another Wakasashi is the smaller katana styled sword. You can match the colors up on that if you wanted to. Rock. Tribal fur and buckles. I guess it's not going to do it. I thought that's where they had that little Persian thing, but I don't see it. Leg accessories goes on the side of the leg and the calves, or not the calves, the thighs. Knew I was going to think of it. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do in there too. Golden Age stars, I have those available to me. This right here, he could have katanas on both his hips. If you're doing the dual bladed guy and you want to do katanas, that's the way that you could do that. And you can also, of course, with the katanas, I could say I only want it on the right, or I only want it on the left, or whichever. So you have that option as well. Fins, golds, katanas, lassos, which could also kind of look like a bullwhip to some extent. If they had a whip power, that might have been pretty cool. There's a Persian sword, rock size, so that kind of like I like size. They don't have size as a weapon available, but side swords. And the side swords are more of the rapier or cutlass styled, not cutlass. What do they call those? Maybe it is a cutlass. I can't remember. The rapiers come in a different dimensions. There's the foil, which is, or an épée, which is a very thin line of blade and piece of metal. And then there's I think it is called the cutlass. I could be wrong. That has the wider, slightly wider blade to it, and that's what you see in a lot of the not martial arts movies, a lot of the musketeer type movies, is they use more of a cutlass than they do a rapier, but they still fight with fencing. Strap rings, swords, those are the regular swords. I think we're going to go over a little bit. I'm going to go back to the legs. He's going to go tights leather, but instead of split, I'm going to go with the circles to match the top, because that kind of helps that out. Details, again, you can go with all kinds of details. I think the one that I went with the top one was wrinkles. So I'm going to put wrinkles 2 on there. I like the way the knees look on that one better than on the other one. That's just personal preference, though. On his boots, you have a variety of different feet you can pick. Let me zoom him way out there so you can get a better look at his feet again. There's a variety of different feet and stuff. You've got barefoot. That's called the short, tight boot. And you can do a lot of different things with that. If I do that right there, it lets the rest of the lower leg tights show off their style and stuff as well. And I am going to change the white lines in that to black, and I may invert the colors on that as well, just to match what I did with the upper part. 90s tech goes all the way up to the thigh, mid-thigh. Looks very 90s, very... the artist that comes to mind when I see that is Rob Liefeld, except Rob couldn't draw feet in the early days. He's better at it now, but and Rob, if you're out there, I love your creations, man. You create some of the funnest characters, the great Deadpool and Cable and Domino. Those all came from Rob Liefeld. Those were all his brain children over there at Marvel. So he's created some great ones. But art style, his proportions are off in some cases drastically. There are some very humorous images online that you could look up that are, you'll just be wow. Armor sleek. That looks a little too metallic. I mean, I could change that to leather, but I still don't think it'll fit the ninja look I'm going for. Armor spiked. I don't want 100% ninja, but I think that the feet and the bracers and the sword itself. So I'm giving you a couple of that's kind of cool. Don't go for this character, but it's kind of cool. Tribal 2. Tribal 1 is kind of a straps across the calves and feet. The long boot zombie. Mechanical claws. Alright, so we're going to go all the way back up here to the rig. Actually, just if I click off of it, the long boot will show back up. We do want leather. This gives you options to change the long boot in a variety of ways. One of those ways, I believe, is wrapped, which for the ninja look is rather fitting, I think. I'm just going to go with that. Foot accessories. These are things that go along the calves and the legs and whatnot. Some of it's not available to you, and some of it is. Roman straps are kind of cool. And tails and rear accessories. I'm going to give you a idea of some of the stuff that's available for that. And yes, the tails are animated. So in this game, when you take one of these, it'll be doing that the whole time you're running around. So there's a lot you can do with these kinds of I don't know why that scorpion tail doesn't show up. I kind of like the idea of that. Not for this character again, but... And you can also increase the size in the up in here. You can increase the length and volume of your tail there. Two more things that we're going to do, and then I'm going to go ahead and name this guy, and we're going to log off. This is your katana weapon, right? And we're going to stick with the katana, but we are going to change it to match the katana on his back. So the red and the gold wrap with the white in the back, right? So if I want the red wrap, that's going to be where the gray is. I can do that. This is already semi-gold, but we're going to go with that gold. The blade itself is going to stay the silvery color. But this background stuff in here, I kind of like the idea of that being gold against that blade. And maybe don't lock it. Maybe give it, what do you guys think? Maybe like a blue, kind of a blue steel color. Let me do that and back out. Take a look at it. kind of like that. Actually, what if we change, and I can go back and change the other one in a minute. So if I change that to black, no, leave that gold, this one's the one. We change this one to the dark red. Or maybe his wrap, wraps don't have to be black. They can be violet or blue, right? But I want it to stand out from the dark red in the background. Green is actually the contradictory color for red, because if you look on the color wheel, blue, there's three primary colors. So you've got yellow, red, blue. If you mix blue with yellow, you get green. So green is directly across the color wheel from red, which is why I was looking at that. The only problem with green and red is the implication is Christmas. And let's just say this guy is not going to be Christmas. I recall I had to go up on that red color anyway. What if I do white? Dark red blade. It's hard to see from this angle because of the metallicness of the blade, the light reflecting off of it. I kind of think that might look cool. And now we're back to the white with the gold and the dark red, which matches gold, white, and dark red on the wrap. So I don't have to change that at all. This part right here is his mood, right? So let me first, you click out here, puts away his sword and gets him standing regular. Right now you've got normal and heroic. We start with the moods. If I went average, he's got this kind of a goofy stand-up stance, right? Heroic is the common everyday heroic look that you think of when you think of superheroes. Huge, he gets kind of bigger and bulkier, more Hulk smash, Benjamin Grimm the Thing, characters like that. Huge beast, his fingers come out, so he's getting, if he's got the claws and whatnot, it makes the claws stand out more. And just straight up bestial is where he kind of gets down on, almost down on all knees. And when he runs down on all fours as well, which is kind of interesting. But obviously with this guy, we're going to go with the heroic look. If I zoom in here so you can kind of see his face a little bit. Now let me go. Stuck on his hip now. Go back here. Now go back here. Nope, still zooming in on his hip and not his face. I don't know why it does that. But you can kind of see his face from here. So if I click this to courageous, see how one eye kind of gets that kind of a look on it? So I think it's kind of cool. Then the determined, both the brows are down. And like, let's go to static stance. But you can see the grim. Well, I guess static stance messes that up. So determined, grim, angry. So from grim, you see his lower jaw comes in closer, and his got more of a pinched mouth. Angry. With these guys, I usually go with either determined, or if I want to do something a little more comical, I'll go with courageous. But I'm going to go with determined on this guy, because I think that fits him. Um, I don't know what the costume transformation thing is supposed to do. That might be something new that's coming out that I didn't even know was going to be in there. I guess we'll see later. So from here, once I've got the look of my character design that I want, I can just click next, and it comes time to name him. The cool thing about the names in Champions Online is there's, other than trademarked or copywritten material, which you're not supposed to use, any name that any other player has ever come up with, I can use. They do that because if you think about it, there's more than one Captain Marvel. I mean, even in Marvel Comics, there was more than one Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel from the Silver Age of comics, Marvel, who was a Kree, half human. Later on, they had, I think she was known as Photon, Binary, maybe? Photon? No, Binary is the current Captain Marvel. Was Binary for a while. I can't think of there's like been 3 different names on this one girl, and one of them was Captain Marvel, and she's kind of a laser shooting African American female that's I don't know if she was a mute. I don't remember how she got her powers. I've seen her in a bunch of different books though. She's kind of been shared around to a bunch of different titles like Avengers and West Coast Avengers, and she's been to a few other places too. But she was Captain Marvel for a while. Captain Marvel's son, Legacy, took on the moniker of Captain Marvel for a while, and then later dropped it again. Of course, Rick Jones, in both with both Captain Marvel's son and the original Marvel, he wore the Negabands. That when he clacked them together, it swapped his place here in our realm into the Negaverse or something like that, and Captain Marvel would come out and do the superhero stuff, and then when he's done, he clacks the wrists together, and Rick Jones comes back out to do his private life stuff. The only goofy part about that was Rick Jones had to wear these gold bracers everywhere he went. Kind of reminded me of the old Wonder Woman look, but and there's been other Captain Marvels, and of course Shazam from Image. Oh my God, sorry, from DC Comics right now was originally from Fawcett Comics, but Fawcett Comics was then purchased by DC Comics and Warner Brothers, and so now it's owned by DC, and they changed the name when the rights to the name Captain Marvel briefly lapsed, and Marvel Comics went out and bought those rights for their Captain Marvel, so DC had to change the name. There's been a bunch of different things that have happened with that. But the point being, a lot of different superheroes have had the same names. There's more than one Spider-Man. There's more than one Captain America that's been around. There's more than one. There's a variety of different heroes that have taken on the moniker and, to some extent, look of the other heroes. So why can't we do that in Champions? Well, we can. So with this sword guy, I think I'm going to call him... Oh, you know what? I didn't fix his pants. I can do that later. I'll fix the colors on the pants later. I want to get this closed out. Let's call him... He's got the skull and kind of the hair and the... We could do something with death, nether, skull, bone, shard. Uses a sword, he carries... Shard is not bad. I kind of like shard. How about... Bone shard, skull shard, death shard. shard, blood shard, red shard. Razor shard, razor sword, razor. Going away from shard, razor knight, shard, knight, razor, knight, samurai shard, samurai, red samurai. Blade, razor, ooh. Yeah, he's gonna be razor shade. Instead of a razor blade, he's kind of in shadows and stuff, as that ninja style stuff going on. So razor shade fits for him. And we can come up with a story later, so we'll say more to come. Almost all my characters have a story in them. When somebody comes up and targets your character, they can click on information and bring up your story, your backstory that you've written for your superhero. And I kind of like doing that. So instead of taking this guy to the tutorial right now, I am going to go back, go to the pants, legs. See what happens if I change these colors up to match the ones above. I like the look of that. The belt looks out of place now, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm gonna go to the belt. And also, I changed it to cloth at some point. I don't want cloth on that. Unless I was gonna do like satchel. Where's that martial arts one?
Okay.
That's the Persian wrap that I was trying to think of earlier. That's the Persian front piece that I was trying to think of earlier too. Ornamental martial arts belt. I don't really like that belt. Does he need a belt? That's kind of exclusive Art Deco is another one that I got through the Amazon thing, I believe. Golden Age Star. Dryad, that doesn't make sense. Draconian, no. Discs. Dark Fantasy. With the Dark Fantasy, there's also a chest piece that matches that. So he's got like this big skull-looking chest piece with the fangs coming down to match the ones coming up. You can do kind of a cool look with that. Cowboy right slung. Skull chains. Actually, skull chains kind of fit for this guy, don't they? I like the little ones better, but we're going to keep going up. Buckle small. Buckle skull. That's the one right there. We're going to go with that. We're going to actually do it metal because it kind of breaks up the leather there. We're going to change the color of the skull back to the bone color that we had. We're going to do the spikes has the dark red color, and that was the eyes actually. My bad. These are the spikes. So if I go back to the eyes, I can actually make those eyes pop. I kind of like that. What do you guys think, huh? You know, you're thinking, I can't talk to you. You don't have a chat thing. Sorry. Stick with black. I could go with red, or I could... Let's go with that, right? What do you think, guys? Is that razor shade enough for you? Alright. So, I usually skip the tutorial, but because I'm doing a walkthrough with you guys, I'm not going to play this character right now. I am going to... the only thing I'm going to do is click I'm done and let it take me to the tutorial. And I'll show you the beginning Animaniac here, or animation they do, the intro thing. So you can do that if you want. I have a particular set of
Hi, kitty.
keybinds that I like to use. And because it is already almost 8 o'clock, I've gone 30 minutes over the amount of time I was going to go, and I have dinner sitting here getting cold on me. I'm going to go ahead and log out. All these perks and things that are popping up, that's all because of how long I've been playing this game. I've had this lifetime membership since the beta, before it went live. I was actually invited to play the alpha for City of Heroes and City of Villains. Well, actually, City of Heroes. But at the time, my computer wasn't strong enough to carry the game as it was coming out. So I had to wait. And then I got in on the end of the beta. And then they went to open beta. And I was playing throughout most of that. And then after that, everything else is history for me. I've just been a superhero fanatic for ages. So whether it's comic books, toys, movies, television shows, you name it, video games, I'm there. I love superheroes. But what I'm going to do right now, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and log off, and I will see you next Tuesday at 6:30, and we will actually start the tutorial, and that's when I will set up the keybinds with you guys before we start going. So thank you for tuning in if you did. If you didn't, maybe you'll catch this on my YouTube channel later when I upload it there, and talk to you later.